UConn, Alabama. I've not really talked about either of these teams much this season. I have seen them play, obviously. I am a hoops fan. I watched Illinois play against UConn, and that was fun in the first half. And then UConn did what UConn does, and that kind of went from there. I won't bring it up for our Illinois fans who are watching here, but kind of same thing with NC State. Obviously, I feel like Alabama has played better throughout the year than NC State has. I think that they have a tremendous, tremendous offense, one of the best in the nation. It's just their defense here and there. Mark Sears, I think, is a fantastic player. I would say one of the top 10 players in the nation in my mind, if not top 5 up there as well. But he's just one of the best players out there, and the way he's able to play, he's going to have to be the difference in this one if they do want to win. But I mean, UConn, they have Tristan Newton, who's no slack himself. I mean, he's up there for top 5 players, top 10 players in the nation as well. And obviously Klingon. I mean, what Klingon was able to do against Illinois, it's almost like you can't pick against him, it seems like, after you saw that performance. And going into this one, Mike, we'll start with you first on this one. Just what are your thoughts going into this game with UConn versus Alabama?
I mean, first of all, Sears is an absolute wonder, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So in the tournament, he's scoring 24.5 points a game, 45% on 9.5 3-pointers a game. And then you've got Grant Nelson, the kid, the NDSU transfer from native of Devils Lake, North Dakota, my home state. So I have to get that out there. Just dominating, had 24 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, including that full court block to seal the game. And, Aaron Estrada for the Tide is doing pretty well too. They're great. I mean, they're a really great team. Sears is as good as it gets. But can anyone hang with UConn at this point? They're terrifying. They're terrifying. Klingon is so quick for someone who's 7'2", and he's so long, and he just disrupts everything. And then UConn has 5 starters averaging double figures. It doesn't even matter if you shut people down because they just have other guys who will score. I don't know. It seems tough.
Dylan, don't you disrespect North Dakota. North Dakota, a real place. They play really good football out there, Dylan. They win.
Absolutely. I grew up in Fargo. I can attest that it's a real place where people live.
Philip says, is it mean that finds Cam Spencer is very annoying? Is it just me that finds Cam Spencer very annoying? He said, is it
nope,
just me there?
Same.
Yeah, I feel like Cam Spencer's trying to do like the Kasai Tamanaga thing where it's like he just loves to play the game, but everybody hates his team because they're really good. So it's like, Kasai Tamanaga played on a really, and I'm not going to say Nebraska wasn't really good. They were good this season, but one of the best teams in the nation that just won the national championship last year. I feel like people would get annoyed with him too, kind of like Cam Spencer. But yeah, no, I have not really felt good about Cam Spencer ever since he left Rutgers. I wanted to see him play more for Steve Peichel, but anyway, we'll get off on that rant another time. Evan, your thoughts on the game overall?
I worry this could get ugly, just like the Illinois game. Just because, Alabama, Illinois have both tremendous offenses. Illinois, at least tries to play defense at times, whereas Alabama just does not care and just refuses to even try on defense. So you're wondering if they're not hitting, again, going back to, is the shooting background a thing for these guys going to the game? Because if they're not hitting, it's over. And I saw Alabama played Purdue earlier in the year in December up in Toronto, and Alabama made 19 threes and still lost against Purdue. So it's like you have to hit 25, 30 against UConn to keep up with them, because UConn's just an absolute juggernaut right now. I hope it's a good game, but I could very easily see this, UConn going on maybe not a 30-0 run, but something similar to where they just it's a close game and all of a sudden it's over in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, UConn has been baffling to me so far this season. I was talking with a buddy about UConn and how they're going to lose in the tournament. I said, look, the way that UConn loses in the tournament if they just shoot the 3 ball really bad. That's how they seem to be losing so far this season. And long behold, UConn is shooting 28.3% from in the tournament, and they have still killed everyone. So it's so much for that prediction, because that's something I want to say is if Alabama shoots the 3 ball better, it could be one of those situations where it's like Nebraska versus Purdue, where obviously Purdue was a really good team, but Nebraska just shot the lights out that game, and they were able to take it home. And so maybe Alabama, with how they're able to shoot the 3, I mean, in the tournament, Alabama, they're shooting 38%. UConn is shooting 28%. Like, this should be the determining factor in the game, is that Alabama is able to hit the three and UConn is not. But when you look at the stats, like, Alabama plays a super fast pace, and UConn, I mean, they're not slow, but they don't play as fast of a pace as some other teams do, and definitely not as fast as Alabama does. And so it's one of those things where, you know, they're going to slow the game down, they're going to control it. And I had hopes that Illinois was going to be able to play it fast enough at a pace that they would be able to get down the court before Klingon was able to get down there and really get some easy shots at the rim. But they just weren't able to do it because they weren't able to get stops. I mean, UConn is so incredibly efficient on offense. Like, pretty much the only time you have a chance to go get in transition is when they miss a three, because every other shot seems like it goes in. So, I mean, that is probably my key for how Alabama wins this game, is that UConn just continues to not shoot great. Maybe they shoot in the kind of high 20%. Like I said, they have been in the tournament. And then Alabama, they just shoot the lights out. Maybe they shoot above 40%. Mark Sears gets going. I mean, it's going to take like a 7, 8 3-pointer game from Mark Sears for them to win this one. I mean, he is going to have to be fantastic. One of the best in the nation at shooting the three in this game, and really have that come out story. And at the end of the day, like, every guy around him is going to have to be great as well. I mean, this entire team is going to have to play their best game of the season, and UConn could literally play their most average game of the season, and they could still win in this one. So, when I look at it, like, you know, it's one of those things where UConn should be able to get Alabama in foul trouble, and that's going to slow the game down even more, and it's going to really disrupt Alabama. So if Alabama cannot foul, which they've not been able to do, they've fouled 22 times per game as a team, 22 times per game in the tournament, 22 fouled as a team per game. Just thank goodness they're not playing Zach Edey. I could not imagine what would happen in that situation. But yeah, I mean, they're going to have to not foul and just shoot the lights out in this game. One thing I'm confident they can do. The other one, I'm just not as confident. So my prediction this one is going to be UConn. I could see UConn going for like 80, 82 in this one, and Alabama slows down. They don't have as fast of a game, and I could see them only getting to like maybe 65, 66 or something like that. And UConn comes out here with UConn comes out here another double digit win. So was that exactly the same as yours?
Yeah, mine was 80 to 65. Yeah, I was like, I could see them keep it there, but then just UConn just does what UConn does, and just, you know, like you said, like they didn't even play all that well against Illinois, and they just slowly just massacred them. It was I couldn't believe it when I was watching it.
Well, we talked about it. Like, some of that was Brad Underwood's strategy as well. Like, some of it 100%. Was like, Brad, we get what you're doing to try to get Klingon in foul trouble, and that's good for the first 5-6 minutes. But when you get through 5 or 6 minutes and he doesn't have fouls, like, you know, maybe take Ty Rodgers out of the game, start shooting it a little bit more. So, Mike, your thoughts on, you know, the rest of the game and the prediction for how it'll go?
I mean, yes, Illinois was not getting stops, but even when they got stops, Klingon got back. He was fast. He's like the guy at practice leading in sprints, and the coach is getting pissed because he shouldn't be, but he is, you know? And the coach is like, come on, guys, pick it up. And he's just like, they're all like under their breath. They're like, oh, Donovan, like, why are you making us work so hard, kind of thing.
Such a try hard.
Yeah, such a try hard. But he gets back. He's not just sitting there. He's getting back. He's getting his position. He's finding the guy. Like, he's making it tough. And here's the other thing about Alabama. I talked him up, Grant Nelson, and he's great, but he is slight. And Klingon is huge. And UConn in general is physically imposing. And I just don't think, like, forget even needing to make shots. I just don't think there's any way Alabama holds up inside. And I think, you know, if UConn wants to, they could shoot a bunch of threes. But if they want to, I think they could just, like, really make this ugly and just destroy them going inside and taking it at them. I don't think they will, because they don't have to. But I think they, like you said, JR, there are a lot of different ways for them to win this game. But ultimately, I just think Alabama's going to make some shots. They'll be competitive for a while. I'm sure Sears will do some things because he's great. But they're going to run out of juice. They're going to get in foul trouble, and they're not going to hold up front. And I got like 86-64.
Yeah, and you know, Grant Nelson, he's no slouch. He's a good big. You know,
no, he's talented. I just don't know if it's a good matchup for him.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is, like, he's a good big, but I still take Klingon. Time and time again, because I just between Klingon and Edie, there just is nobody else in the nation that really compares to them. Maybe DJ Burns in the tournament, but even DJ Burns throughout the year, he still didn't compare to them in that way. So, yeah, very interesting. Let's see if any predictions here in the chat. Philip says UConn 105, Alabama 80. That would be a really
lot of points
to watch.
Yeah.
Alabama hoping for Big Ten officials.
Hey, Courtney Green's making the trip, so you never know.
He very well could. Casual Big Ten, Kent says, I hope they both lose. Kent, yes, that would be nice. But unfortunately, basketball don't work that way.
We're assuming that UConn makes it there because right now they still haven't left. They're having plane issues.
Yeah. This is just what
so that's the only thing that can stop UConn?
It is a plane, yeah. It's just them not making
travel issues.
Dan is gonna go to Enterprise and rent a bunch of 12-passenger vans. Like, guys, we're gonna get there. We're gonna face all this adversity. Nobody's gonna stop us.
Besides, I texted my group of my friends. I was like, Dan was going to use this as some motivation. They didn't want us to make it to the game. This is why we're gonna. It's like, God, he will.
Nate Oates paid off the airplane mechanic to make it so it wouldn't work or something. Oh man, Philip says UConn practice jersey games.
God,
I love that. All right.